Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Did She Really Say That? This is our member spotlight where we bring in incredible women from our Truth Bomb Academy and we get to highlight them and their brilliance and genius as they take on being a female entrepreneur in this new conversation that we've been having. I'm your host, Chef Katrina. I've been an internet marketer for the last 15 years. I teach and train digital marketing. I've taught courses, built out businesses, and owned my own restaurant. Was a former chef, which is why everyone calls me Chef Katrina. But I'm here today joined by my co-host,
Heidi Muma, and I love the journey of entrepreneurship. And I've homeschooled my kids for 17 plus years, and just the lifestyle that I built there also alongside with building businesses and entrepreneurship just helps me to continue to want to build that lifestyle. I mean, why wouldn't you? So anyhow, but I am the CFO here inside Truth Bomb Academy, and I just bring the my accounting background and my event planning, which is super fun.
Money and fun.
Yeah, money and fun.
Of course, this is what we do. So we're excited because today our special guest is none other than the uncomparable Lisa Carmichael. She is freaking amazing. I met Lisa many years ago. We started talking about her business and what she does. And Lisa is the founder of Epic Mastermind, which is an incredible female business mastermind. She takes women through the journey of building their business, and she is incredible at it. So much so that she's actually put one of her courses and trainings inside the Truth Bomb Academy, allowing women to really develop that money mindset that so many of us struggle with around presenting our offer and building our business. So I'm super excited. I'm going to have Lisa just do a quick introduction of herself, and so that you guys can get to know a little bit more about her. Hi, Lisa.
Awesome. Thanks, Katrina. Thanks, Heidi. I'm so honored and so grateful to be here and to have known you for the years that we've known each other. And I've learned so much from you, Katrina, and on my journey. I also, like Heidi, I was a stay-at-home mom. I worked corporately until my third child was born, and that was my ticket to staying home. And that's where I knew that I needed to be home. I needed to support my family, though, at the same time. And so for many years, just kind of dabbled, trying to figure things out, and decided that, you know what, I do know a lot and I have a lot to offer. And that's how Epic Mastermind was created. It was created because I was in a mastermind group and I got so much out of it that I knew if I could share this with other women entrepreneurs, that I could help them find their confidence and find their success. So yeah, it's really exciting to be an entrepreneur these days because there's a lot of us out there, and there's this huge glass ceiling that corporate America is always trying to break through. And we don't have that glass ceiling being entrepreneurs. We get to be in the driver's seat, and we get to decide what we want to do with our time and with our money.
So true. So when you created, so I know EPIC stands for something because it's not spelled your traditional way. This isn't like an epic journey through time and space. This is really, there was a lot of thought and meaning behind this. Can you share with our audience what EPIC stands for?
So EPIC is actually an acronym, and I chose it because I wanted to be creative and it sounded good at the time. And I went ahead and I bought the URL and I went down that journey of understanding, what I had to do to own my own website. Epic, I really for the longest time did not like it. I had to lean into it to embrace it. Because Epic, everyone thinks of, 80s. I don't remember the name of the movie, but yeah, it was, Epic is not really me anymore in that sense. But the acronym that goes along with female entrepreneurs, E standing for evolving, I standing for, I lost my thought because I've kind of moved it into impactful. Because we do make an impact on other women and everything in this world. P standing for purpose, I is for impactful, and K standing for kindness. And I chose kindness versus the traditional C in Epic because kindness, K and kindness means that I always think of that we just don't have enough kindness in this world. And as a female entrepreneur, leading into who we are, we do need to show a lot more kindness. There's a lot of bad things going on in this world. And if we can start manifesting more kindness, I think then we will see the difference that we want to make.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I loved actually when you shared with me what the K stood for in terms of kindness, being that was what drove this entire mastermind for you. I just remember thinking that is absolutely brilliant. And I love, honestly, you talked about maybe like leaning into it and this isn't you, but I find that the words you chose in terms of entrepreneur, purpose, right? Because women really do need a purpose. They are purpose driven, right? From having kids to taking care of your house to taking care of your spouse, like there's always a purpose for women. And so I love that you chose purpose. So you have an entrepreneur that has purpose, creating impact, right? So impact is huge. Women are always impactful. Every little thing we do creates a ripple into the universe, right? Every action we take is really that impact. And kindness really speaks to the true heart of being a woman. Compassion, kindness, empathy, showing the ability to relate to others. So when you shared what Epic was, I was like, no, this really is a beautiful place for the mastermind you're creating and the type of environment and the women that you want to help in business. So whether you keep it or not, I think your vision of this is truly in a remarkable journey that you're taking women on.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. So my first mastermind, it was pre-COVID, and I wanted to do an in-person mastermind like the one that I attended. And it was a 6-month program, meeting for 2 hours in person once a week. COVID came, and I already knew how to use Zoom and to do things like podcasts. So I decided to take it online, and my Epic Mastermind became an international group because I was able to reach out to people in the UK. I had 2 people from Canada. I had 1 person from Australia, and another person from the UK, as well as in the United States. So yeah, it's an international mastermind. And right now I'm focusing on building my business locally because I'm getting closer to retirement age. I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to be close to home. My children are adults, and I want a lifestyle that I can still work around their schedules.
Yeah, I love how you said that, because I think, what you pointed to is that internationally, all women are dealing with, being a female entrepreneur, and we're all up against everything in terms of like going through the education, going through the training, all of that. And when you talk about your mastermind and what these women are going through and the skill sets you teach them along the way, right? And the collaboration that you really focus in on, because you're like, no, get to know each other. Like, this is your support. These are your women, right? That they're in the same boat as you, whether they're here locally or internationally, you have access to this. And then you're talking, go ahead.
Oh, just building collaborations, building partnerships is where we're at right now. When I worked in sales, it was always a competition. When I was in corporate, it was always about stepping on somebody else's toes to get ahead. And we've realized that we need to build each other up.
Yeah.
And the more that we build each other up, the more that we get built up. And it's just such a great energy to have instead of trying to get ahead of somebody else. And that competition, when people saw that my sales were going up, they asked me what I was doing differently. And I said, well, I stopped competing. And actually, the only person I compete against is myself. I literally had my spreadsheet on my phone. I love Excel. I would look at my stats from the year before and the year before and the year before. And that's how I became a pace setter, because I knew where I was and what I could do and how I could do better.
I love that.
Collaborating, building partnerships to build each other up is where we're at right now. It's difficult to go alone. I love the idea that you have 3 people, but being a solo entrepreneur, you have to do a lot of the things that
everything. Let's just face it, you have to do everything.
So that's why we need each other.
And it's interesting that you bring that up, because originally both Heidi, myself, and our other business partner Karen, we were all solo female entrepreneurs to start with. And that was really where we started looking at when we came together with the Truth Bomb, was that collaboration really is a key ingredient for women. even in the corporate world, I've heard so many women say, I built amazing partnerships with our suppliers and our vendors, and those relationships are why we keep getting the bids, why the money keeps coming into this company. So if you really want to create that mass income, it's through the collaboration process. It's through those relationships, because ultimately at the end of the day, we trust each other more when we have a relationship, when we get a sense of who a person is. Right. That's, I think, and I love that's part of what's inside of your Epic Mastermind. I love that that's also what we teach inside, Unlocking My Millions. That entire playbook ends with networking and collaboration, or collaboration and networking. We actually put collaboration first because we recognize how important it is.
It is. It's being very intentional, as well as building those face-to-face relationships.
Yeah.
Because the internet is so huge. The world is so huge. Let's get to know one another and focus on who really matters the most.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that you're also building locally, and I remember we've talked about this a little bit, but when you started building this local group, you actually did find a partner, someone to collaborate with. Is that correct?
So yeah, locally we are hosting happy hours. And it's kind of ironic because I don't drink, I drink water. But she owns a local pub here in Eagan, Minnesota, where I'm located. She and I are like soul sisters. Everything we talk about, it's like we've been on the same path. Her path is owning her own business as a restaurant owner. She actually owns 2 restaurants. And I am so amazed at the fact that she knows about mindset, and that she knows that how important meditation is, and how taking time for ourselves and being in that feminine energy in order to fill up our cup instead of always working and running on empty.
And it's so interesting because that is your collaboration, right? Like that is her business. You're coming together and you're collaborating to bring something to women. And just before we got onto this podcast, you were saying that on average, you have about 12 women that show up, female entrepreneurs that are showing up. Like, that's huge, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I think it's amazing. And it does take a little bit of effort. I'm using, all the digital resources that I know about, and, Meetup and Eventbrite and word of mouth. So, and the neat thing with these happy hours is that there's no pressure. We're just talking, and people are just naturally collaborating because, hey, I need a digital marketer. So someone gave them some business. Hey, I had a problem with some plumbing, and somebody else, that was who they reached out to. As a solo entrepreneur, I'm going to add on to this with happy hour that it's something that is free. You get what you put into it. Yeah. And you can belong to an expensive group, or, and not do anything, or you could be part of a free group and take steps and build business that way. So it really boils down to the effort that you put into it, and making that decision of following through on your belief with your business, so that you can move forward, so that your efforts aren't vain.
I totally agree with this. And the one thing that I think is really interesting is that what you said is like women naturally share resources, right? So when we get together, and when like we were even at a networking event, and we're like, man, where's the best place to get your car done? And we're at an all-female networking group, right? Like not your typical conversation. And this lady goes, oh my gosh, there's this place. It's a little out of the way, but they're phenomenal, right? Like they take care of you. They do a little above and beyond. And it was just like, it's this, it's been around forever in this city kind of a place. And like, so we looked it up, we went there, and I was like shocking at the price. Like the price was very like, only the locals know about it, truly. Yeah. Right. Like if you were brand new to the area and you didn't know, you would never know this place was there. It would be literally a word of mouth type of marketing. You're not seeing them on the digital medias, and their parking lot is always full. Their bays are always got cars moving in and out of them. And we wouldn't have gotten that information around a great mechanic and somebody that actually cared about your car, cared about you as a person, looked to make those connections. You weren't just running through some corporate environment. This is a family-owned business. And it's like, wow, that level of relationship actually makes me want to go back and get more work done on my vehicle.
And he's spending his time learning more about engines and not learning how to promote himself on TikTok.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna help, and I mean there's the pros and cons of it all. So we've been on this journey, and you've been on this journey, and I remember even when we first met, you talked about like the money mindset, right? How important that is, that women struggle through, like pricing of their product, different things that we deal with in terms of what is our worth, what is our value. And one of the things that we talked about recently is that there is a book out there called The Science of Getting Rich. And you were like, and I remember you talked about, like, you're like, yes, I've read this book, it's phenomenal. And I remember we had great conversations back, and I asked you if you'd be open to presenting this information to the Truth Mom Academy. You were like, didn't even blink. She was like, yes.
Yes.
Right. And what you put together for these women in your power is extraordinary. Like you have to experience it, but Lisa literally put together, and she reads to you. Right. So some of you, and I love this because we recognize that women learn, humans learn different ways. Like some of us learn through auditory, some of us learn through visual, some of us learn through auditory and visual, tactile, like we have to hold the books and everything. And so Lisa really, I mean, honestly, you put together, I think it was like 5-minute videos total. It's like 31 videos you recorded. Is that right?
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about putting that together, and what was your mindset around, going through that book, and what did you rediscover for yourself?
The first thought was, when you asked me, I have been on this journey of saying yes, that if someone asks me to do something, instead of initially saying, no, I can't do that, I'm too afraid, all those negative beliefs popping into your head. My initial thought was, yes, she asked, and yes, I will do it. The second thought came as I realized that we as women, we need to tap into what we're good at. And what I had to offer was, I knew how to read, and I did create my own audio for my own book as being a published author. And I didn't want to hire somebody to read my book for me. I wanted people to hear my book in my voice. I decided that's what I needed to do for Truth Mom Academy, is read that. It's important because some people, like you said, won't read the book itself. They won't order it. They won't buy it. They won't know where to get it. And so it is something that it's just, you can listen to, just like a podcast like we're having today. And then secondly, if you do want to read it, you can read along with me. And there's this great book, The Power of Moments, that talks about, we don't always remember the things in life. Like, I have this beautiful candle, or I have these flowers, but we will remember the moments that made a difference in our life. And my hope was that when someone would read this book along with me, they're going to think, I read with Lisa Carmichael in this book. It was like the quirkiest thing, but it really made a huge difference. And so that's the type of experience that the person will remember as they read along with me in The Science of Getting Rich. I love The Science of Getting Rich because it is the book that changed my mindset when it came to money. And that instead of always thinking I did not have enough money to do the things that I love and enjoy, to live the lifestyle that I desired, I realized that I had a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of self-limiting beliefs around money. The Science of Getting Rich just really opens up your mind to thinking in a different way, and in a way of abundance, and that there is enough money for everybody. And you could compare it even to time. You have something called time magic. It's kind of like, instead of the science of just getting by, this is the science of getting rich. We naturally choose to only get by, and we don't need to do that. And that's what I really learned the most from reading The Science of Getting Rich, and now sharing it with other people.
Hattie, what did you learn? Because I know that was one of the big pivotal books for you also.
Yeah, so because I think it's like, for me going into it, it's like The Science of Getting Rich. Just like, it just sounded like another one of those books that just says, it's like, where it's like you just say something and expect it to happen. And I was just like, but I think with the reading through the science of getting rich, it's like, yes, it's like it talks about putting those thoughts out there because it's impacting the energy around you. But it's not just impacting the energy around you. I think it's like when you put those thoughts out there, when you create those thoughts and you actually verbalize them and you actually tell other people about them, it actually then your actions follow the thoughts that you're putting out there. And I think it was like, for me, it was like when, because he kind of incorporates, it's not just, it sounds super woo-woo. And actually it's like, I'm looking at books that I want to review and I'm looking at like what other people have said about them. And I think it's like, today's like, it kind of goes along with the book about Think and Grow Rich. And it's like, when you have those thoughts, it's like, that word think and that word is a big thing. And it's like so many people, the reviews that I'm reading, it's like, and they're saying they got like, oh, this is just a bunch of hippity doodah basically. And I'm just like, I don't even think you got it. Like, you didn't read the book and maybe you didn't discuss it with somebody else. And I think that was really key for me because Katrina and I read it together. And so it was like, it was being able to discuss it with somebody. And also just seeing how it's not just putting thoughts out there and saying, oh, I'm going to be rich and expecting tomorrow to get a $20,000 check in the mail or a $200,000 check or whatever you think you want. And it's just like, and it may happen. I'm not saying yeah, I've heard stories that happens, but at the same time, I think it's like, for me, what I got from it was, you put those thoughts out there, you tell other people about what you want, what you're going after, what your dreams are, and your actions follow it. Your actions follow up the thoughts that you're putting out into the world.
Oh yeah, you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you believe. So if you believe that what you're reading in that book will come to fruition, it will.
Right.
And
And
it's
that
not just
belief,
because,
like, your actions are following your belief.
yes,
Just to think it is one thing, but it's that belief makes you go into action.
I kind of came up with 3 steps where first you have to have the belief, and then you have to have the trust, and then the being, where you have to allow what you read in the book, for instance, that you have to be open to receiving what it is that you're there to learn. Magic really does not happen, but yet it does. And it only happens because you take action.
Yeah.
And without action, the belief, the trust, and the being, it doesn't exist.
And sometimes it's like, what I also realized was, it's not always like I have to do the actions that create the money. Sometimes it's just talking to people. Sometimes it's literally, it's just talking to people, because it's like, people don't know what you're after if you're not talking to them. And it's like, sometimes, it's like, our business partners did something the other about a situation that a bill came in or something, and they talked to the person that was basically in the middle of it. And it was like, and that person took care of the bill. But it wasn't like, it was like, if they just sat there and be like, oh, we have this bill, but it's like, because they talked about it, because they put that action out there, it's like, she didn't do anything to create the money. She just spoke to somebody.
Yeah.
But she spoke to somebody. It's like, it's things like that it's like, yeah, it's like the money there, but you actually do talk or write or do something that
I love that. Yeah.
into the universe.
So true. So true.
Yeah. I think a lot of times too, we talk about this, and just in terms of like what you do for your epic mastermind, and even what you're doing with your local getting together. Sometimes I find that women don't want to share that they're in a bad place, right? That they're struggling or that they're going through something. But the thing is like, to get where you want to go in life, you have to be vulnerable and understand that it's not a you condition, it's a human condition. And it's not unique to you to say, hey, I need help. But it is also up to you to speak that into the world. And sometimes we get so stuck in our head around it. And I know for me personally, I can only speak to myself because I'm the only person in my head, right? I will pile everything on top. Yeah, I will pile everything on top of mine before I say or learn how to communicate that I need help. Like I'll just layer all the problems thinking I've got to do this myself. And then all of a sudden I'm like in an overstated whelm. And I'm still do experience that, but I'm starting to recognize when I'm there sooner as opposed to later. So it's definitely an ongoing journey around this conversation with money, with manifesting, with taking action. And I love what you've done with the Science of Getting Rich inside the Truth Bomb Academy, because I do agree that with both Heidi and you, talking about it is key, right? So as you go through the training that in the book with Lisa, comment, engage in there, because that's going to deepen your understanding around what it is that might be a mind block for you, a mindset for you, or break, or like a moment of just like aha that you have, not necessarily a breakthrough, but more it's like aha kind of a thing.
Definitely being open, being vulnerable, being transparent is definitely to your advantage. And there are questions at the end of sections that you have the ability to answer those questions. And don't be afraid of saying something that's not correct, or just a saying of when to learn. You, in order to really learn something, you have to be able to teach it. And so we want you to share your takeaways, because when you put that out to the universe, that is solidifying what you actually learned. So it's that learn, then do, teach concept. So you learn something, you do it, and then you comment.
Yeah. It's even in the book. So when you download the PDF book of the Science of Getting Rich with Lisa, her questions are in there. So as you take your breaks through that, you actually, that's why we recommend downloading it, holding your hand, or doing the digital version of it, so you can answer those questions, so you can write down your thoughts around that. So I love, really honestly, Lisa, what you put together, because it is incredible. Like both the reading of it, the pacing of it, and then the ability to sit there after like 3 chapters, you have us ask questions and go, okay, what, and it helps deepen our understanding of it.
Yeah.
Right. And you just do such a beautiful job. So I mean, honestly, everything you've been creating is just pure magic. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
and I'm a woman, so I'm going to second guess myself every time. The first thing I said to you, Katrina, was like, I think I want to do it over again. But it really was fun doing it. So, going back to that, saying yes to something, and don't allow your fears to hold you back. So you will get many more things out of this book than you can ever imagine. So I think this is a great idea to include it in the Truth Bomb Academy.
Well, and I'm so grateful you said yes, and that you've been gracious enough to that this is in here for these women to take advantage of, right? That this is part of the overall curriculum as we take you through Unlocking My Millions. We know when you get to the money section, this is a book you should absolutely read. So we want you to be in this conversation around your beliefs around money and around your pricing of your product and everything, because it is such a key component to really stepping into owning and allowing yourself to become a millionaire in life without the stress, without the overwhelm, without the frustration of building it, because you're relating to a group of women that are going through this journey together. And that's the beauty, honestly.
Yes. Women undervalue themselves so much. In our mastermind, we talk about like, what do we feel that we're worth? What's your dollar per hour? What is your asking rate, your dollar per hour? And women would say $15, $25, and it's that corporate mindset that they are only worth $15 an hour, versus all the effort that you put in as an entrepreneur, that you're worth a lot more, 10 times more than just $15 an hour. So it's mind opening. And it's so important not to undervalue ourselves.
Yeah, we do. And I remember I heard a quote recently. It's called "The Women Do the Invisible Work That Makes the World Work." And one of the analogies, which I think is just brilliant, is that like as a mom, right, or as a woman that's living her life, You know, there are things that we do that we don't get paid for. But if you woke up in the morning and you had to go wake up your kids, that's the bellman back in the day that had to knock on the door. Do you think the bellman had a paycheck, that they got paid for getting up and knocking on everyone's door and saying, wake up call, right? There was a paycheck to that. And then if you're going in, you're making breakfast for somebody. Well, now you're a short order cook. There's a paycheck for that. So now you've just doubled your paycheck. You've got two now coming in, multiple streams of income. From there, you've probably washed the dishes. I'm almost positive. So now you've got the dishwasher pay, which is another paycheck. You might have served your family. In the real world, that's called server pay. So now you've got 5 paychecks before even probably 8 o'clock in the morning that came to you, but you never valued it as 5 paychecks that are coming in. So the question is, what is your worth? And if you were to go find those 5 pay, do you realize that per hour that you just woke up and did what you did for your family because you feel that that's just what you have to do to take care of people, that you probably would have been paid close to about $100 in that first hour.
But even better, if you actually had your kids do chores, you're now the manager.
Oh,
you get even higher pay. It's even more pay when you have to manage the
So now you've got manager pay on top of everything else you're doing. And then now you've got like housekeeping, you've got the dish room, you've got like all these little things that we just seem to do as women. Actually, if you put it out in the world, everybody would get a paycheck for that action. So I think sometimes it's like communicating back to yourself that you have so much value and you're doing so much work, and it does have a paycheck behind it. And if you put that in place, because like, you know, I'm just going to play with this. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're creating the podcast, right? So now I'm the video, I've got to do the video. So I'm a videographer. So I get paid for videography, right? I've done the video editing. So that's a video editor pay. I've had to post it. So that's a social media manager or a social media engagement specialist. And then there's the manager, because I have to manage now how I'm going to, like, do you realize that the work that you put into this are all paying jobs that if you put that paycheck together and you ask, well, what are you really worth? I think it would be a very eye-opening experience.
I love this so much because you would not learn this on your own. We can't figure things out by ourselves. And that's why we need each other to listen to what we've learned and share it with one another. And that's what will make the difference in our businesses.
Yeah, I am so grateful for you, Lisa. I don't, however you came into my life, through whatever path you came through, it's been a blessing to have you in my life. I know we've connected over food and sourdough bread and all sorts of fun stuff. And really just the amazing growth for both of us as our journey as entrepreneurs. I know that together we've gone back and forth with each other. I know I've learned a lot from you just in terms of the tenacity and your drive to do this. And it's like, how can I help Lisa more? It's always been my question, right? Because I think all of us as women, we want more of us to succeed.
And that's a question that we all should have whenever we're meeting with another female entrepreneur. How can I help Heidi more? How can I make a bigger impact for you and your business? Yeah. And if this makes an impact in your business, I would be ecstatic. So, which it will. It will make a difference.
It will. So what's the best way to get in touch with you? Where can they find you and connect with you outside of this podcast? Because they're all probably going, ooh, you've got something local, you've got something online. So what's the best way to connect with you?
I always send people to my website, which is my name, and it is Lisa with my middle initial R, Carmichael. And there you can link up with me on Instagram, Facebook, everything social media, TikTok. I'm out there. I'm doing things. I'm around town. And if you have any questions or want another connection, connect with me. I'd be more than happy to have a one-on-one conversation with you.
Can they connect with you inside the Truth Bomb Academy also? Can they connect with you inside the Truth Bomb Academy also?
Yeah, definitely. Connect with me through the Truth Bomb Academy. Message me. I'm waiting for messages.
So what's great about the Truth Bomb Academy and what we put together is that we do have a member directory. So you can find Lisa in there. You can message, connect with her, follow her. And as you go through her incredible training of the science of getting rich and what she presents to you, definitely reach out and connect with her. She's an amazing entrepreneur, and she's one of the first actually inside of our academy to be our our influencer, our leader
Mhm.
in this conversation. So it's been an honor and a privilege to really, work with you on this project and watch you bring this to life, because it's a remarkable experience. Oh, honestly, I don't even have the words for it, because what you created was surpassed anything I thought was possible.
Nice. Thank
And
you.
it's
Thank
just,
you.
it's beautiful. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. So, and it's included in Truth Bomb Academy. So
It
it's a
is.
win-win. Yeah.
It's
And you're also welcome to go to my website. I do have a free download on my website called freebies. So if you don't know how to add freebies onto your website, or what a freebie really is, click on that. It's yours. It was made just for you.
awesome. All right, ladies. Well, thank you for everybody, for all of our podcast listeners. If you guys got value from our podcast today, as we spotlight our members from the Truth Bomb Academy and those that are going through Unlocking My Millions, as female entrepreneurs, we've redesigned the entire approach to how women do business. And this has been a refreshing look and totally new information that women need to build a business successfully while prioritizing what they're doing in their lives and at different seasons of your life. So whether you're actively raising children, you're single, you're empty nester, you're retiring, we recognize that women have different seasons and how they're going to build their business also. So follow us here on our podcast. We're again on Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can find us anywhere. And so if you want more info, give us 5 stars, I think.
5.
If you want to rate
Not
us.
4.
No,
5.
5 is cool.
Did she
Not
really
2.
say that? Yeah,
5.
she said
5 stars. 5 stars is what we're looking for. And of course, comment. We love hearing from our listeners, and we hope you're getting value from all this incredible training, because honestly, Lisa really did say that about money, friendships, partnerships, female entrepreneurships, and so much more. So listen again, because she dropped a lot of truth bombs here inside. Did she really say that? With that, everybody, enjoy your day, and we'll see you in the next episode.